Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the greatest basketball show on the planet. You guys are going to love me tonight. You're going to hate me. You're going to hate some things I say. But hey, that's why we listen to Eddie, right? So today on the show, we've got a great action-packed show. We've got so much March Madness to get to. We've got Clippers pull off a crazy comeback. The Rockets snapped their 20-game losing streak. Elgin Baylor dies at the age of 86, a sad time. LeBron James expected to miss some time. Aaron Gordon trades. What's going on with these guys? All these NBA guys are reporting, or they want out. They want requesting trades. It's the year of requesting trades. I'm going to go through the power rankings, and unfortunately, LaMelo Ball, Rookie of the Year. Question mark now. Supposed to miss the rest of the year. Like I said, we've got an action-packed show, but I want to get to the LeBron Laker news. He's going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks. It's tough. I talked a little bit at the end of the show last week, but I want to talk a little bit about this. And I've spent some time thinking about it. What do the Lakers do? What's next for the Lakers? And I've come to I wouldn't say to the realization, but I've come to my final point that I've kind of made with this. And there's obviously a lot to digest with this because he was having a hell of a year. He's a Lakers leader. The Lakers are second. The Lakers are now missing Anthony Davis as well. And it's going to be tough. I've said this. People are going to have to step up. But it's one of those things where 1A and 1B, and then Trez is going to have to take a bigger role. I've said this all along. The Lakers bench is going to be, obviously, benches what wins championships. I firmly believe that. You need a guy to pop off. And last year, it was KCP. And the Lakers need KCP to do the same thing. He hasn't had that bubble season that we've all expected. But then I have another view on this. So, if you were to tell me LeBron James and Anthony Davis were going to have, let's just say LeBron James for now. If you were to tell me LeBron James was going to have a month off during this crazy season, what would you tell me? Oh man, that's great for a 36-year-old LeBron. Because they're saying it's 3 to 4 weeks now. That's the Lakers could have one bad a week and they could be in like a 6 seed. And then if you fall any farther than that, you're in the play-in game. The play-in tournament, I'm sorry. But let's just say, hypothetically, you tell any person, hey, LeBron's having 30 days off in a season. Kind of in the second half, the back end of the season. Hey, that could be big. A 36-year-old guy who hasn't taken many games off. I want to say 2 games he's taken off. And they're going to give him a month off. Obviously, it's a high ankle sprain. High ankle sprains are always the worst. Those always take a little bit longer. You can't really just lace up the shoes a little bit tighter. So, you can look at it both ways. You're giving LeBron a month off at the back end of the season. Hey, you want him healthy for that playoff push, right? That's kind of why you want. That's kind of when you want LeBron at his healthiest. Is at that tail end, right? I'm just trying to see. I'm trying to get different angles on it. I'm trying to see different things. I'm trying to, hey, healthy Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis hasn't really played this year, to be honest with you. He's been out there shooting free throws. Kind of going through the motions. But can this help the Lakers? No one wants to see him in the first round. No one. They're a nightmare. It's a nightmare. No one wants to see that. And I've talked about it earlier on the show, where home court advantage really isn't much of a home court advantage this year because these stadiums aren't packed. So if you want to look on glass half full, LeBron's getting 30 days off at the second part of the season, obviously with a high ankle sprain, but it's still 30 days off. But he's nursing it. I mean, I'm just trying to. And then the glass half empty, you're saying, oh my God, 36-year-old LeBron, bad ankle. Usually takes a little bit longer time to heal. He's hobbling into the playoffs. It's you can go both ways with it. But it's interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how the Lakers do, because I went over their schedule the last time we were on the show, and it's not an easy schedule for the Lakers. And I'll go through it here again. They've got New Orleans tomorrow, which is a winnable game, I think. Then they have the 76ers on Thursday night, which is going to be a tough game. Then they have Cleveland on Friday, which is a winnable game. Orlando, winnable game. Milwaukee's going to be tough. And then we get into April. You got Sacramento, which is another winnable game. And then we got the Clippers. The Clippers the Clippers are hungry to beat the Lakers. And look out for the Clippers. This Thursday, we'll get on the next podcast, is the trade deadline. So you're going to get a lot of noise. I'm going to do a little segment on the trade talks coming up here later. Clippers are right around there. They just traded a guy in their back end of their bench to clear up space. They have $2.5 million in space for buyouts or a trade, and they have a roster spot that's empty. Look out for them. But then they got the Toronto Raptors, who are always tough, the Miami Heat, who are tough, then the New York Knicks, who are tough, then they play the Nets. So it's a tough stretch for the Lakers. And they're gonna be without their two top scorers. And then obviously with the Lakers, their defense drops off too. Because you got two of your best defenders. Two, you could say all NBA defenders. Anthony Davis is always, one of the best defenders in the league, and LeBron, who's playing at defense at a high clip. It's gonna be like I said, it's a scary time for the Lakers. But like I said, if they get healthy, you don't want to play them in the first or second round. You don't. You just don't. Now let's get to the other tough injury. That it's always, this is you love sports, but this is a part of the sports that I'm going to say you hate. You don't like it. LaMelo Ball, who was having an awesome, great rookie campaign, is out for the remainder of the season with a wrist injury. Out indefinitely, but they're thinking the rest of the year. That's tough. That's tough for the Hornets. He was their heart. He was their soul. He played hard for them. He did it all for them. And the Charlotte Hornets were my favorite East Coast East team. And just like that, he's out. Is expected to miss the rest of the season with a fracture to his right wrist, sources tell. He's seeking a second option to confirm diagnosis. Fracture is in the area of Ball's thumb, source tells. Tape it up! Tape it up, right? I guess he's meeting early this week with Dr. Mitchell Carlson at the Hospital of Special Surgery in New York, one of the top specialists in hand surgeries. I hope the kid is okay. He's playing so good. Man, you would hate to see that because Charlotte had something fun going. They're a good team. They're young. They play hard. They compete on both ends. And he was their heart and soul. They kind of went as he went. And he obviously didn't start at the beginning of the season, and now he was starting, and he was making a lot of noise for them. But if you listen to the show, I've talked about this before. Does this open the door for Anthony Edwards, who I think wasn't getting a lot of love for the Rookie of the Year? And I think he should have. The kid is a baller, certified shot caller. Kid is good, but he has a lot of nights where he doesn't show up. A couple week ago, he had he had 40 points, and the next night he had like 2 points or 6 points. LaMelo's gonna show up. He's gonna shoot his deep threes. He's gonna have some behind the back passes. He's gonna have some flair. But does this open the door for Anthony Edwards that I said last week? It could. And I like Anthony Edwards. Can he? How many games are left? Not many left, but can he make some noise? Enough noise? Did LaMelo Ball do enough to win Rookie of the Year? I don't know. Anthony Edwards is a high flyer. He makes a lot of ESPN top 10 plays, and he's not afraid to dunk on people. He's a good scorer. But then again, the Minnesota Timberwolves aren't very good. He's got to get going. But I think it opens the door for him. I think there's a conversation now. I really do. I like the kid's game. Plays hard. They lost tonight, but he plays hard. Let's see his stats. Can he make some noise? Anthony Edwards. Let's see. I like his game. He's good. He's tough. He's averaging 16, 38% from the field, 31 from 3. Okay. Free throws 76. Rebounds 4, assists 2. 2 turnovers a game. It's not bad. It's not bad. 16 points. The only thing that's scary about them is their team is really bad. And they it's got to feel for them, Minnesota. They don't D'Angelo Russell hasn't been healthy for them. But Edwards has been good, I think. And I think he's going to get some noise. I really do. Because he's a good basketball player. I love his game. He's aggressive. He's not afraid. But it's going to be tough. I really do. I do think it's going to be tough just because LaMelo's done so much. But I still think he can do it. So LaMelo's averaging 15.9, which is less. 49% field goal percentage, 37 from 3, which is higher than Edwards. It's 5 rebounds a game, 6 assists, 1 steal, 2 turnovers. Yeah. LaMelo has a little more flair, though. He catches the eye. He's out there, and I don't know. It's going to be a nice race to keep an eye on, though. I don't think it's I think it's open. We also had a tough loss today in the NBA. Elgin Baylor, former Clippers GM. He was one of those guys that I obviously didn't watch him play. I'm only 27. But from all that you see, he's one of those guys that his game would have translated to today's game. He could have played in any era. Jerry West raves about him. You know, if the logo talks about you, you're doing something right. But his game he was always a good Laker. I know he spent a lot of time. He was just a good guy too. No one says anything bad about him. And it's a tough loss. Young guy too, 86. It's young. Elgin Baylor, rest in peace. Another thing I want to talk about, the Rockets finally snapped their 20-game losing streak. What does that mean? They poor Silas. I feel for Silas. I've talked about that. He's a hell of a coach, and I don't think he's got the fair shot. But he snapped that, which is good for him, because that's tough. Losing that many games. I don't care in what sport you're doing it, and I don't care if it's pickup. I don't care if it's rec league. I don't care if it's anything. If you lose 20 games in anything, think about you take 20 L's in anything. Bad dishes. I don't know. What else? That's a tough one. And John Wall had a triple-double. Good for him. And let's see if they could maybe make some noise. I think they're going to trade. And I think, like I said, I think they're going to end up trading Victor Oladipo for good reason. I said they got to blow that up. I had a whole segment on it last week. They've got to blow Houston. We have a problem. Blow it up. Get some draft picks. Kind of go into complete Oklahoma City Thunder mode. The thing about the Thunder is they try to lose and they win. They just have so much talent. They have a lot of young talent. Hey, this is a hell of a deal. 4 tickets, 4 beverages to a Houston Rockets game, $79. Okay. Beer, wine, and soda, or water. Okay. I'm from Los Angeles. You can't do that at Laker games. You're paying a lot of money for tickets here. Hey, it's what it is, right? But let's see the Rockets schedule coming up. Can they make some noise here? So they beat the Raptors. It's a blowout, 117-99. I don't watch Rockets games very much. Then they play Charlotte. Charlotte on Wednesday with no LaMelo. It's a winnable game, right? Then they go back to back against the Minnesota Timberwolves Friday, Saturday. Very winnable games. Anthony Edwards, let's see what he does. Then they play the Grizz, who are tough. Then they play the Nets, they're not winning that one. Then they play the Celtics, they're not losing that one. They're not winning that one. And they play the Pelicans. I don't know. Can they get going? Probably not. But they're going to be playing hard. Steven Silas is, like I said, I still don't think he's got a fair shot. I feel bad for him. And it's good news that they broke that streak, though. You never want to have anything. And I don't want to talk to you about March Madness a little bit too early, but there was a lot of upsets. That's my next segment, so stick around for the show. We're going to talk about we're going to talk a little bit more about the March Madness, how crazy it's been. Stick around. But let's stick to the NBA. What's the deal? And I'm just going to touch on this now. What's the deal with players asking for trades? Who are these guys? Aaron Gordon? Asking for a trade? Who does this guy think he is? No disrespect. With all due respect is I don't know. Who does Aaron Gordon think he is asking for a trade? Come on. He wants out of Orlando. I mean, Orlando is a mess, but I think they're going to end up trading for you. I don't want to give you guys too much of my secrets on trading, because I have a whole segment on that lined up that I'm excited to talk about, and I've got some good trade scenarios that I like. But first, it was Harden. I get that. I get Harden wanting out. I do get that. Now you got Aaron Gordon. Very interesting. Is Harrison Barnes on the move? Lonzo Ball? LeVar Ball was on the show the other day. Devontae Graham, I don't get that one. I don't want to talk about it too much because I'm going to talk about it here later on the show. But let's stick NBA. There were some good games tonight. And why did Ty Lue not play Luke Kennard in the first half? It's interesting. Are they trying to light a little fire under the Clippers? What's going on there? Is that something to talk about? What's going on? I think it's something that you should definitely gotta check out, because you know what happened to the Clippers last year? Does he think they're kind of sleepwalking a little bit? Talk about that here in a little bit later. It was interesting to me that I was watching the Clipper game. The Hawks let a big lead go, and it's kind of the thing for the Clippers where they've got to get going. They had all their guys tonight. They should have won big. They were down big though, and the bench played really well. But I'll talk about that later in the segment. But later on in the show, we've got some more trade talk. We've got March Madness coming up. March Madness has been nothing but madness. USC goes on. Pac-12 goes on. Oregon State, UCLA. What is it? Conference of Champions, I'd like to say? Bill Walton? Conference of Champions? We'll be right back. We'll be right back after this brief message. Stick around. We've got such an action-packed show. Stick around, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the show where we talk all best basketball. And earlier we talked about the LeBron James injury. Now I want to get right into the March Madness and the thick of things. What is going on? All these underdogs. There is no perfect brackets, mine included. I am not doing so hot. I hope you guys didn't put a lot of money on it, but hey, it's been fun. At this point now, I'm almost rooting for the underdogs because I just want the small schools to win. So I'm going to talk a little March Madness, and I'm going to talk about the NBA scores for last couple nights. And so, Alabama won Saturday. We had some scores. Iowa beat Grand Canyon, but unfortunately, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Texas lost to Albion Christian. How about that? That was a crazy game. Two Texas schools going at it. Albion Christian has only been a Division I school for 6 years, I want to say, they said. They played hard for their coach, and they deserved it. They played really hard. We're going to talk a little bit more about them because, like I said, this is the Saturday scores. We're not talking. Today's Tuesday night. Eastern Washington lost to Kansas State in the first round. Ohio, they beat Virginia. Virginia, remember, they were the last team to be champions, and they took a hard loss to Ohio, who was playing tough, the Joe Burrow team. We'll talk about them a little bit later. UC Santa Barbara lost to Creighton in a nail-biter, 62-63. Their upset bid fell short after a missed shot. That was a tough one. Colorado, the Pac-12, beat Georgetown. Tough one. LSU beat St. Bonaventure 76. That was easy. Michigan won. USC beat Drake. And any other big ones that we had to talk about? And then we talked about the Oregon. Unfortunately, due to COVID, that was a tough one for them. But then now we get to Saturday. Or Sunday, I'm sorry. This is where it got fun. This is where it got weird. This is why you watch March Madness. This is why brackets are never perfect. This is why right here. What we're about to get into. Loyola Chicago with Sister Jean beat the Illinois 71-58. No one saw this coming. But it was funny. She said a prayer in which she said, I want them to shoot under 30% from threes. And they did. It was crazy. Her prayer, read her, if you have a chance, read her prayer. It was awesome. And she is the lucky charm. Loyola Chicago. Big time upset. A lot of people had Illinois winning it all. They saw them as one of the most talented teams in the country. And that was tough for them. Tough one for Illinois Tough one for brackets, too. Vegas probably lost a lot. Baylor and Wisconsin. Baylor, tough team. They're going to be tough. 76-63, they win. Then we have the Syracuse, Coach Boeheim and his son, Buddy Buckets. Buddy Buckets, if a lot of you don't know, is a coach's son. And he kind of doesn't, the whole coach's son thing doesn't really apply to him because he puts in the work. Kid's a shooter. He got off to a slow start in the first half, but in the second half, he had 9 straight points from 3. He is deadly. Shooting from the logo. Pulling up. Buddy Buckets has become my favorite player in the tournament. I always go with one guy that I like to watch. This year, it's Buddy Buckets. 6 for 13 from 3. 25 points, lit it up. Coach Boeheim's son. The coach's son. No one ever likes a coach's son. Because he's the coach's son. The coach's son showed up. Syracuse, number 11. Beat number 3, West Virginia. Also, is the Big 12 a little overrated? Big 10 a little overrated? Texas Tech against Arkansas. My team, I told you guys, Arkansas, they're a tough team. They're going to be a tough out. Texas Tech had a lead early, but Arkansas came back, fought back. They are a tough bunch. Look out for them. I've told you guys, they play hard. They take after their coach who's fired up. I love their coach. He's fired up. Came over from Nevada a couple years ago. He's built a great program. Got some transfers in, and he's doing good in Fayetteville. It's a tough place, and Fayetteville is it a baseball school now? Is it a basketball school? They're obviously not a football school. They don't like fall sports down there. But Arkansas, man, they're tough. They're tough. You got to rebound against them. 9 offensive rebounds. They're a good basketball team. And they didn't shoot the 3 ball very well. 4 for 17. 4 for 17 from 3. That's kind of, that's where the game has gone. Texas Tech was 50%. They've made 3. They made 10 threes. But I'm telling you, look out, Arkansas. They're scrappy. Told you guys. Another one Houston beat Rutgers. Houston, man, that was a tough game for Rutgers. It's a tough one. Then Oral Roberts. How about Oral Roberts? They keep doing it, guys. No one thought about that. They are the Cinderella story. Oral Roberts. They beat Florida. Florida had their chances. But Oral Roberts out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Sheesh. They have the leading scorer in college basketball. Kid can't be any bigger than Abrams. What is he? Maybe 5'7"? Oh, they have listed at 6'1". There's no way he's 6'1". Sophomore kid, Max Abrams. No, there's no way he's 6'1". Sorry about that, big guy. You're not 6'1". Maybe with shoes on and tippy toes, but he's not 6'1". The bottom line is the kid could score. He's a baller. And they have the other kid, Obenar, 28 points. Stud, 4 threes. They went 10 for 30 from threes. They're tough. They're tough. Another team that's really tough, scrappy. Florida, man, I thought Man was going to step up. He had a tough shot at the end that I thought he was going to hit. But I'll tell you what, Oral Roberts, look out, guys. They came to play. They're the Cinderella. This is the team that look out. They're legit. I didn't have them on. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I'm not going to tell you that I had them to win it all or even go this far. I thought they'd be back in Oklahoma. But they're not. North Texas falls short to Villanova. Villanova's a hell of a basketball team, guys. Some of the best pros come out of Villanova. Coach Tara, they just know how to win. 84-60 win, they win. This is the one where I thought, guys, if you watch my show, Arkansas and Oklahoma State were my 2 teams that I thought were going to be the toughest team in the. They had Cade Cunningham, which is going to be a top 5 pick, and they were a scrappy team, kind of like Arkansas. They reminded me a lot of Arkansas. They play the same style. But Oregon State, I'm a West Coast guy, Pac-12 guy, USC fan. In Oregon State, I'm happy to see this. I really am. Picked 12th in the Pac-12. Got an automatic bid because they won the Pac-12 tournament. No one had them winning the Pac-12 tournament. No one had them even in the top 5 in the Pac-12. They were the 12th best team in the preseason. Upset. Oklahoma State. Won the first round, now beat Oklahoma State. One of the toughest teams we thought. Oregon State, guys, look out. They're playing, them and Oral Roberts are playing great basketball. Team basketball. And this kid, Ethan Thompson, from Bishop Montgomery High School here down the road from me. Shout out my little sister. My little sister actually went to the school. I watched this kid play when he was a senior in high school against LaMelo Ball, Alonzo Ball. And kid was legit. He's the best player on the floor. He's so calm, composed. He's a big kid, good shooter, but he never seems rushed. And he's got a very mature type of game. And then Silva had a hell of a game. He only had 7 points last night, but he was also playing well. Lucas, he almost blew the game for them. Guys, college basketball guys, if you're listening, if you're watching, break a press. Spin into the press, get out, pass the ball, let's move. Don't go into corners. That's what they want you to do. They're trapping you. Silva almost got in some trouble, Lucas almost got in some trouble with Oregon State late in the ball game. Gianni Hunt, another Bishop Montgomery guy. So I'm very, I like my LA guys. But Oklahoma State, man, I really thought they were coached well and they had a good season. Cunningham struggled a little bit. 6 for 20 from the field, 24 points. Oh, yeah, 6 for 20 will do it. How'd they shoot from 3? 8 for 29, 27%. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, you're not going to win many ball games like that. Yeah, 8 for 29. Oregon State, 6 for 20. But they were 91% from free throws. And that ended up being the difference for Oklahoma State against Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State couldn't make a free throw. They couldn't. They missed 12 free throws, 26 for 38. And think about that, 12 points, they lost by 10. You got to make free throws, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you're taught, right? Oregon State only missed 3 free throws. Shot a lot of free throws. Ethan Thompson's 15 for 16 from the line. It's my guy. Look out for that guy. He's going to make a lot of noise. And then we had... So that wrapped up Sunday. Then we came to Monday. And opening game, Oregon against Iowa. We didn't know how Oregon was going to come out because, in their first game, they had to play against VCU, but VCU had COVID. So they couldn't play. So we didn't really know how Oregon was going to come out. Was Oregon going to come out slow? Were they going to come out fast? Or were they going to be out of shape? What was the deal with Oregon? They came out, it was a tie ball game at the end of the first half. And they just took off. And they didn't look back. Luke Garza, probably one of the best. The Iowa Athletics came out this week and said they're retiring the kid's jersey, Garza. 36 points tonight. 14 for 20 from the field. He's going to be a good professional. He's going to get a good chance. Kept showing his parents in the stands. You'd love to see that. But he had a tough one. Oregon just came to play. Oregon deserves a lot of credit, though. Hey, I want to talk a little bit about Oregon. I don't think they get the respect they deserve. They really don't. They don't. They're in it every year. They've been in the last 3 Sweet 16s. They're always underdogs. And they're tough in the Pac-12, which is apparently it's looking like a good conference. And they don't get that love. But I'm looking at this. Wow. 0 points, 0 points, 0 points from 3 starters from Iowa? Sheesh. That's not very good. Yeah, that's not a recipe for success. Bohannon, no points. Yeah, it's not going to cut it. Yeah, it's not a good recipe. 8 for 26 from 3. That'll do it right there. 11 for 25 for Oregon. Oregon didn't shoot many free throws, 8 for 11. But yeah, guys, Oregon, they deserve some respect. Put some respect on their name. They're a lot better than a lot of teams, I think. Oklahoma against Gonzaga. This Suggs kid is legit. And I want to talk a little about the officiating. I want to get into that. I'm gonna get into this after I finish all my scores. But Gonzaga, best team in the country, I think, again. That Reeves kid for Oklahoma was good. They just didn't have enough. Gonzaga, man, that team is special. They run, play in the half court, could shoot. They really don't have a weakness. They don't. They don't. They play some zone too, but they'll man you up. That's another thing about the Syracuse game. I want to go back to that. They just suffocate you. They suffocate you. You have nowhere to go. 8 for 22 from 3, Gonzaga. That'll do it. 23 from 26 from the free throw line. That's coaching. Yeah, they're just well coached too. Mark Few, one of the best coaches, if not the best coach in college basketball. He does a great job up there in Spokane. Then UCLA against Albion Christian. You know, Albion Christian had that upset. UCLA, another Pac-12 team. Look out. Pac-12 is on fire. They are. Oregon State, Oregon. Now UCLA. They won by 20. Easy game for them. There wasn't much stress on this one. They look good. It's a good basketball team. They're a well-balanced team, and they can play in the half court. It's kind of the motto, right? Ohio against Creighton. Ohio, poor Ohio. I like the kid blew up his shoe. Did you guys see that? It was almost like a Zion Williams moment. If that was Zion Williams, that went viral a couple years ago, except it's a bummer. He got hurt. But the kid blew out his shoe. Adidas, come on. Nike, come on. Kid's blowing out their shoe. Are you kidding me? Ohio had a good run. Joey Burrow was in the stands. His dad coached football at Ohio. They just ran out of gas. Creighton's good. Creighton's got that lefty who's a baller. He had 20. I didn't know his Michael Carter Williams is his brother. So he's got that shoulder to lean on, which is not a bad guy to be in your ear, right? An NBA guy talking to you. LSU against Michigan. I want to talk about this one a little bit. Officiating was absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible in this game. I watched all the games today. This one in particular, officiating was terrible. Michigan ended up winning 86-78. LSU had a lead and Michigan came back, but the officiating, terrible. And I hate for that to be my take on a game, but the officiating was absolutely terrible. Out of bounds, they miss out of bounds plays, ticky-tack foul calls, loose ball. I mean, I don't know what's the deal with jump balls this year either. They love jump balls in college basketball now, these refs. It's a terribly officiated game. Terribly officiated. LSU got out of a rhythm. They were really upset, it looked like, at the officiating. They shouldn't get that way, but they were upset. And they had a reason to be upset. You never want to blame officiating, but officiating was terrible that game. Ladies and gentlemen, that was bad. Never want to blame it, but it was bad. What other game did we have to watch here? We had Florida State against Colorado. My Pac-12 died down a little bit, but it's okay. Florida State's a well-coached team. They're tough. They've got they're a good basketball team. They're just a really good basketball team. I had them going deep in my draft or in my bracket. I told you guys I was a team to watch out for. Well-coached, well-disciplined, could shoot it. Well-balanced basketball team. Really well-balanced basketball team. And they're good defensively. They'll suffocate you defensively. It just kind of ran out for the Buffalo. It was tough to see the Pac-12 team go. 6 for 17, 17 for 21 from the free throw line. That'll do it. 71 points, 53. They just got Colorado couldn't score, and that'll happen. Colorado had a good run though. You hate to see guys go home, but they did. Alabama beat Maryland pretty handily. Alabama looks good. They're just good basketball team. And then to cap things off, my USC Trojans beat the Kansas Jayhawks. USC looked good. Mobley. This kid is special. He's going to end up being a top 5 pick, lottery pick. He's a good ball player. But Kansas, they just didn't show up. Well, I mean, Kansas, the hype was around you guys. You guys and Baylor, right? 2 top dogs in the Big 12. Just didn't do it. 6 for 25 from 3. 24%. Didn't get to the free throw line enough. 9 for 12. USC shot 11 from 3. Andy Enfield deserves a lot of credit, guys. You know, he was on the hot seat for a while. People were talking about and they want him out. But he's doing a great job. He really is. Recruiting kids in his backyard, what the football team can't do here at USC. Give him a lot of credit. He's done a lot. This was a good Kansas Jayhawks team. 85-51. They blew him out. That was a blowout. And let me finish this last segment by officiating. I said it, I've been all over it every year I say this. Officiating. And I don't like to blame refs. I'm not a guy that likes to blame refs, but can we do something about this, NCAA? First a weight room for the women, and now these officials are terrible. You can't watch a game and if it's not one thing, it's another thing. Let the kids play. This is for the NBA. I'm so lost. I'm fired up. But this is like for the NBA playoff basketball. You let things happen. You let them play it out. Let them play. Bite your whistle. Also, what's this? They got a flagrant foul thing. I saw a flagrant foul yesterday for a guy or a technical foul for a guy that was running full speed and dunked it and held onto the rim. What is he supposed to do? Not hold on to the rim? That's his momentum. Terrible. It's probably not the last time I talk about officiating on my show. I just hate it when refs put an impact on games. I don't like it. I don't. We've got to be better. I had an idea a couple years ago. They should have the final 4 games officiated by NBA refs. It's not a bad idea. Because they're so bad. Watch. Just watch them for a second. That Michigan game was terrible. LSU game took LSU out of the game. I'm not going to say that's why they lost, but you still got to make shots. But Jesus, come on. Officiating's got to be better. Especially these are big games for these kids. Program changing. Draft changing. Got to be better. They have to be better. Still got a lot to talk about on the show. We've got a lot of trade talk. We've got some more college basketball talk. It's a loaded weekend coming up, guys. It's a fun time. March Madness is a great time of the year. I look forward to it every year. And we're going to talk some more college basketball. I might talk about the refs a little bit more. Who knows? Stick around. We'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the hottest show where we talk all the best basketball. So we talked a little March Madness. We talked the LeBron James injury. Now I want to talk about the NBA recap of this weekend and this week. And I just want to touch a little bit back on college officiating. I don't mean to be too harsh, but it fires me up, man. It's one of those things that fires me up. They get me going, and obviously, refs don't determine games, but they've got to be better in college basketball. And I just wanted to say, I got a little fired up, but that's kind of It's kind of the Eddie way of doing things. We get fired up and we talk about it, and we're over it. But now let's get on to this basketball this weekend that has been. We've had some good ball games. Starting off on Saturday night, Saturday evening, we had the Hawks and the Lakers where LeBron got hurt in a tough one. The Hawks won 7 straight at that point. John Collins is playing great basketball. He had 27 and 16. Montrezl Harrell led the Lakers with 23 points, and that was a tough game for the Lakers. They lost their top guy. They lost their horse. The 76ers beat Sacramento Kings pretty handily. The Grizzlies, John Morant beat Jordan Poole, had a 26-point game. He had a hell of a game. They beat the Warriors pretty handily. Bucks beat the Spurs, and the Clippers beat the Hornets. That was a good game. And then Sunday, we had some other good games. This is the first time we kind of saw the Lakers and how they were going to come out without no LeBron James. They were close. They were there. They just couldn't get over that hump. They needed, like I said earlier in the show, they needed guys like KCP to be better. KCP ended up with 7 points. Marcus Morris had to be better. Wesley Matthews had to be better. Think about it. Wesley Matthews, Caldwell Pope, and Marquise Morris combined for 9 points. They can't do that with LeBron and Anthony Davis out. They just can't. They can't do that. They have to be better. They don't have that right now. They have to be a lot better. Then we had Schroeder and Kuzma had 22 and 13 for themselves. Montrezl Harrell had a monster 23 points. Taylor Horton-Tucker had 17. I mean, it's going to be tough. But the only takeaway I want to take out of this is LeBron made the road trip, or he took the road trip with the team, and that's he wants to let his guys know that he's there for them, and I like that. The Pacers and Heat played a tight game, 109 and 106. Good game, I thought. And then the Thunder, the Rockets almost got that win. They had to wait another night. But Lou Dort came out with a huge block on John Wall. He beat him off the dribble, and Lou Dort, we all know, the great defender, comes back and makes a block on John Wall. 19 straight games. Oh man, 20 straight games, I'm sorry. And then today, obviously, with Houston Rockets won. Zion and the Pelicans beat the Nuggets. The Nuggets, I'm telling you, they're one of those teams that it's so weird. You don't know what you're getting. Raptors lost to it's 17-25. They've fallen now to the Cavs. I think the Raptors got to be sellers. Look for Kyle Lowry to be dealt. Maybe, I don't know. They look for them to be sellers. I really do. The Wizards and the Nets. James Harden and Russell Westbrook meet again. Russell Westbrook had a monster triple-double game, 29, 13, 13. Bradley Beal had 17. He had a quiet night. But it was this was Blake Griffin's first game. He had 2 points, and they happened to be a dunk. He took 2 shots. You guys, I told you. The Blake Griffin thing, that the Nets, it's obviously one game, and I just don't. There's only one basketball. People forget there's only one basketball. And they already have James Harden and Kyrie. It's going to be tough when Kevin Durant comes back. That's why I'm not giving you guys an assessment on the New York Nets. Brooklyn Nets until Kevin Durant comes back. I just don't know. I just don't know how they're going to be with it. There's literally one ball, guys. One ball. It's going to be interesting to see. I told you guys. It's funny, though, how that... Blake Griffin's known for being a dunker and all that stuff in his early career, but he ended up the game with a huge... It's funny, he hadn't dunked all year, and his first points for the Brooklyn Nets were young legs. The young legs are back. They're healthy, aggressive legs, I guess, right? The Magic lost to the Celtics 112-96. Kind of saw that coming. The Magic, like I said, Aaron Gordon wants out. Then the 76ers and the Knicks. This was a good game. I'm telling you guys, the Knicks are for real. The Knicks are for real. They had a controversial play at the end of the game where Philadelphia had the ball and they drove down to the basket and they got a layup that they missed. Then Julius Randle got called for the foul for a push on the back, officiating again. And it's kind of been the theme of the show, right? Officiating. And then Julius Randle comes down the court, and he misses a elbow jumper that he got fouled, but I don't know. Can't look for, refs aren't going to call a foul there. It's late in the game. They're not going to call it there, even though they did on the other end. But Mavericks play the Trailblazers. I feel like they play every other night. It seems like Mavericks blew them out by 40 points. Wow, that was a huge game. Luka Doncic 37 points, and wow, 37 points plus 24. Tell you guys, Luka's for real. I talk a lot about Luka on the show. I told you he's next. He's next. Damian McCollum had a tough night, 19 and 13 points. Damian 7 for 16 from the field. McCollum 6 for 15 from the field. Yeah, it's not a recipe for success. Carmelo Anthony 2 for 9 from the field. Even tougher night for him. 3-point shooting 51% for the Mavs. 13 for 37. That's a good shooting night. Wow. You ready to hear Portland's? 9 for 41. 22%. Sheesh. It's not very good. They're not going to win many ball games like that. They just got it. And I've said they got to get healthy. They're getting healthier, and they're still a good team to watch out for. The Kings and the Cavaliers, two teams that are probably looking to trade this coming season. This offseason here on Thursday. We have 2 days till the trade deadline. Thunder against the T-Wolves. I'm telling you guys, Anthony Edwards, you've got to be more. If you want to win this award, man, I'm pulling for you. I like Anthony Edwards. He's got to be more consistent, though. 16 points tonight. 6 to 16 shooting. That's not bad. Cole Anthony had 33, but the Thunder want to lose, but they keep winning. They're just a good basketball team. Shea, 31. One of the best young point guards in the league. God, he's good. But look at this. Another 3-point stat. Timberwolves, 14 for 39. That's not going to do it. It's not going to do it. Karl Anthony Towns shooting 12 3-pointers. Come on, big guy. Get down there. Bang. That's too many threes, I think, for him, right? 10 for 28 from the field. That's a lot. He's got to get more high percentage shots. I don't know. I guess I listen to Shaq and Charles too much. A big guy should be down there banging. Hornets beat the Spurs without LaMelo, 100-97. Scary Terry Rozier, 24 points. Gordon Hayward, 27. There's finally Jordan finally hit with Gordon Hayward. He was so bad at free agent building a team. He's hit. Gordon Hayward's had a good year. He was banged up a little bit, but he's hit with that. A guy I like. I love PJ Washington, but I've heard that that name floating around for contenders. Wonder if they'll trade. The Spurs flying under the radar. They lost by 3. Tough game. Tough game for them. They'll be all right. I think they're going to end up trading at the deadline. The Jazz beat the Bulls 120-95. Rudy Gobert had a monster game for them. I want to say he had 9 blocks. He almost had a triple-double with blocks. He had 21 points, 9 blocks, 10 rebounds. That's cool. 9 blocks. Wow. Defensive player of the year, maybe? Yeah. Raptors lost. Like I said earlier, look for the Raptors to be traders. Yeah, they're falling fast. 117-99. Steven Silas and John Wall, big hug. You got to feel for Silas, man. I told you guys he's a great young coach. I thought he was gonna be with the best coach this year, but he's got a tough situation. Wood got hurt. Harden got traded. PJ got traded. Tough situation for them. And then we have the Celtics against the Grizzlies. Celtics again. Ja might have had the play of the year. If you watch Space Jam, you'll like this play that Ja had. It threw him an alley-oop. And you know how bouncy Ja is. He made this, oh my God, left-handed, going away from the basket, got it and put it down. He's one of my favorite young guys. He's so talented. They need a player though. He needs help still. He might be like a player away. At 29 tonight. Yeah, tough night for the Celtics. Celtics are just so inconsistent. I think they're too small. Even though Williams is playing better for them as of late. Bucks beat the Pacers 140-113, huge win. And the Hawks and the Clippers, one that I want to talk about a little bit. I want to elaborate a little bit on this game. The Hawks had a huge lead. The Clippers only scored 18 points in the second quarter. Trae Young had 20 points in the first half, and then only had 8 points in the second half. That's tough. That's tough when you're best player. And Ty Lue actually benched his guys. Benches starters. Pandemic P wasn't doing so hot, so they benched some. They benched Leonard. So he rode with the second unit, and the second unit rode them really well. They came back. Luke Kennard had a monster game. He had 20 points. At one point, he had like 9 straight points. He banked in a shot at the end of the regulation, or at the end of the third quarter, which kind of catapulted them in. He had a plus 30. He was plus 30. Luke Kennard and Mann, they both had great games. I was actually watching this game live. They played really well. Man could be big for them. Because Man is a guy that no one really talks about. He played 29 minutes tonight. No one's kind of expected him, but he's one of these guys that comes out of nowhere, and every team has one of these guys, and he could be that for them. He's a good player. Kennard, of course, he got the big deal this summer. But Paul George, 8 points. Struggled. 3 from 12 from the field. And like I said, Ty Lue benched them. And, yeah, Trae Young's got to be better for the Hawks in the second half. He's their leader. He had 28. Like I said, he had 20 in the first half. He got to be better. John Collins, 23. Yeah. Rondo, 2 points, 10 minutes. It's kind of weird with the Rondo and the Hawks. Because it's kind of, he chose them. He had money from other places as well. But he chose them. And it almost hasn't seemed to work out really well. Rondo's one of those guys that I wouldn't be surprised if he gets traded. Obviously, it's his first year in Atlanta, but he's one of those guys that he's more for a contender that wants to win as maybe like a point guard away and maybe play spot minutes and not play huge minutes and kind of be almost like a coach on the floor for the second unit and kind of move the team around. And you know what I mean? Kind of like what he did for the Clippers. He's at the back end of his career. He's not that point guard anymore. But he chose the Hawks, and they're playing a lot better with Nate McMillan since they took over. Like I said, they had won 8 straight until they lost tonight. They should have won tonight. They were up big. They had 100 points, and the Clippers had 89, I want to say, when I was watching. I watched this whole game, actually. It's a good game. It was after that USC game. And the Clippers just came back and played a lot harder. Second unit came out and played hard. Luke Kennard and Mann were the difference in tonight's ball game. But Paul George, I want to talk a little bit about Paul George because, he's one of those guys that runs to the media and he likes to be protected and he likes to say why he does this, why he does that. And he's a little soft. That's okay. If Clippers radio ever hears this, they're not going to hire me, but that's okay. I have a problem with Paul George sometimes because he wants all this praise, but when people come after him and he plays bad games like this, he's not very consistent. He gets like almost a little butthurt. And he needs to be that second guy to Kawhi. Kawhi hit 2 big threes to kind of seal off the game tonight, one of them right in the guy's face. But Paul George has these stretches where he could be the best player on the floor, and then there's other games where he just doesn't even show up. Like, do you leave your shoes at the house? Like, what's going on, man? What happened? Like, what happens? And they're going to need him to be a lot better down the stretch. They really do. They're going to go as he goes because obviously you need more than one superstar in this modern NBA. And they paid him a lot of money. They did. They paid Pandemic P a lot of money to do this. So he's got to get going. because he hasn't been what he hasn't been what they've kind of advertised, or what a playoff P? Is that what he goes by? Now let's talk some NBA trades. We had some more trades. Like I said, Aaron Gordon wants out. What are the Lakers going to do? What are the Clippers going to do? Like I said, they just freed up that space today for the Kings, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Jerry West might have something up his sleeve. I really do think they have something up their sleeve, because they kind of see that, like, the Lakers kind of, right, like, struggling a little bit. Are they going to make some moves? I think they have to. Like, are the Lakers going to make some? What are the Lakers going to do? Are they going to go all in, or are they going to kind of rely on their guys that they have? Montrezl Harrell today, he sent one of those tweets where the eyes. Remember, it's big now. You really don't know what these eyes mean. Thursday's gonna be fun to watch, guys. Miami Heat have kept tabs on Kyle Lowry, I'm reading. That could be a good pickup for them. A lot of teams want JaVale McGee. I'm reading the Lakers do, but the Lakers are going to he can't come to trade. He has to be traded and then waived. So it's going to take a lot for the Lakers to get him. The buyout market, Lamarcus Aldridge, where does he end up? He could help a contender out. I want to say like the Celtics, was it that he wouldn't really help the Celtics, I don't think. I don't think he would. But Aaron Gordon is interesting because I'm reading a first rounder and Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is kind of the heartbeat of the Celtics, and he's been so good for them over the last couple of years. And I don't know, does that make them better? I don't know how much better that makes them, to be honest with you. So they get Marcus Smart and 2 first-round picks to the Magics for Aaron Gordon and Eric Fournier. That would be nice for the Celtics, but I think they need to get bigger. I think they need to get bigger. Now, if you're the I'm just reading through crazy stuff. If you're the Heat, do you trade Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero for Kyle Lowry? No way. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. That'd be a lot. That'd be a lot. Bogdanovich and Collins to the Celtics. The Celtics, Danny Ainge isn't going to stay quiet over this. He always wants to get better. I could say that about him, but he's not. He's got to give up some stuff now. This obviously isn't working. The Hornets made calls for Montrezl Harrell. I don't think the Lakers are getting rid of him. The Pacers and Knicks, look out for them. The Magic are only interested in deals for multiple first-round picks and pick swaps. Of course, I mean, why not, right? The Nuggets are interested in trading for Lonzo Ball. That'd actually work out because they need somebody. Jamal Murray off the ball would be nice. Because he brings the ball up a lot, but he's really not a point guard. And Lonzo could kind of get him into his rhythm and kind of get him going. He likes to run. That team could be fun with Lonzo Ball, a guy that could run. That could be fun. I like that. I actually like that a lot. Denver. I heard the Clippers a lot too, but I like Denver. I like that one. They got the pieces to trade. I don't know how the money would work though, because he's a free agent this summer. That'd be a good pickup, I think. I think that'd be a good fit. Denver for Lonzo Ball, that would work out. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in real quick. I'll be right back. I'm going to talk about some power rankings in the NBA. I'm going to talk about the March Madness, the games that are coming up. And should I jump back on the refs to be better? No, I'm not going to do that anymore. But hold on tight. We'll be right back after this brief message.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, of the show. We've got our final segment where we're going to go through this week's power rankings. We're going to look forward to this week in basketball, the March Madness with the games coming up. And we're going to talk a little bit about the NBA coming up. But first, let's get to officiating. I'm just kidding. We've had enough fun with officiating and referees making their calls and all this good stuff. And I'm sure I'll be fired up again this weekend watching ball games, and I'll be back at it. But let's get to it. Let's get to the power rankings of the NBA and MVP talks. So, we all know LeBron got hurt this week, but let's look at the top 10 this week. Last week we went over it. So this week, coming in at 10, we've got the Dallas Mavericks. Luka Doncic has scored over 117 points over the last 3 games, shooting 59%. That is special. 54% from 3. And it's finally coming around where we're finally starting to see, like, Luka's finally in shape. Because at the beginning of the season, we kind of were like, the Dallas is, we don't know what to think of them. They're 22 and 19. I think their starting 5 is getting a little more healthy. Porzingis, I still think Porzingis is how they go is, if he could stay healthy, he's the key, I think. 100% they're key. But I think Dallas at 10, I think they're going to make some noise. I think they're a contender, but I think Luka's finally in shape, and he's just as advertised. If you like basketball, watch them. Luka's special. Like I said, he's next. I just talked about him in my last segment. He's next. Portland Trailblazers coming in at 9. The Blazers got a piece of their puzzle back. They got CJ McCollum back. He returned last week, and he helped them. But they're still so bad defensively. Defensively, when you feel like they have to make a stop, they just give it up, and they're almost one of those teams like in what comparison do I want to make here? They're like those OU football teams back in the day that could just outscore anybody of the Rams a couple years ago, that they could just, the team scores, or even the Chiefs, they score, and you just know that, like, Pat Mahomes is going to drive down the field and going to score, and that's what they feel like with Damian. Like, Damian's just going to turn it on at the end and kind of save them. But it's kind of catching up to them. You got to play defense in this league. And I think sometimes when they need to make a stop, they can't make a stop. And that's my only knock on Portland. Just make defensively. They've got to get better defensively. Coming in at 8, the Denver Nuggets. They've been weird this year. I've told you guys. We've talked about them a lot. I talk about them a lot. Lonzo to the Denver Nuggets. I talked myself into it early on the show. It makes sense, because I think Jamal brings the ball up a lot, and I think they play better when Morris is on the floor. Murray can kind of back away, kind of find his shot a little bit more, and kind of do his thing. So with Lonzo likes to run. The Joker runs the floor really well. Barton runs the floor well. Gary Harris runs the floor well, and I think Lonzo would be a good fit for Denver. I just don't know if you have to give away Michael Porter. That'd be interesting. He's been playing well, though. He's shooting 50% from the field, Michael Porter, in 12 of his last 14 games. Denver is inconsistent, but I think they'll turn around. I think Joker, who is now probably the leading candidate for the MVP, I'll talk about that a little bit later. The Joker with LeBron and Joel out, I think he becomes the leader. He kind of looks around. Oh, okay. Coming in at 7, the Los Angeles Lakers. They were 5th last week. They had an interesting lineup this week. They started Markieff Morris, Wesley Matthews, KCP, Kyle Kuzma, and Dennis Schroeder. LeBron was out. They said, like I said, 3 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks with that high ankle sprain. And seeing LeBron, but I turned it on you guys. Remember I told you guys earlier in the show, first segment of the show, I said, could this be you never want to get a guy hurt. And the only thing that scares me with LeBron is he's 36, like I talked about earlier. 18th season. And he's logged all these minutes. And at the older age, you start worrying a little bit more about injuries. And that's kind of what I'm worried about with LeBron right now is how that high ankle sprains are obviously the worst. They're the worst, And you always seem to see those. LeBron always dodges those falls and stuff like that. But I really do think that this, whatever, 3 weeks off, 28 days, 24 weeks off maybe, could help LeBron in the long run. Say it takes him a while to get that ankle right, and then just a time off could help him. And no one takes care of their body better than him, and he's on the road trip. He's coaching up the guys. Anthony Davis is hurt, and this is taking a little bit longer than we thought. So the Anthony Davis one scares me more than the LeBron James one. But I don't think a 7 seed really matters for the Lakers, or 6 seed, 5 seed. I don't think it matters to them. So like I said, it could be glass half full, glass half empty. You don't really know, but I think it'll make the playoff run better. I think Morris, Kyle Kuzma, Dennis, they're going to have to play bigger roles, and I think it'll help them in the playoff run, and we'll see how it affects them. And I think we'll see if they have to make any moves at the trade deadline on Thursday. The Clippers coming in at 6. They're playing a little bit better. They switched their rotation up a little bit. They moved Marcus Morris to the starting lineup like he was last year, and Batum went to the bench. Clippers are playing well. They just so inconsistent. Patrick Beverley's hurt again. He might be a trade piece, I'm thinking. So we'll see. The Clippers are they won a good game tonight. Ty Lue sent a message and benched a couple of the starters. He rolled the second unit. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the Clippers going forward, though. I think they go as Paul George goes. They need Paul George to be huge. They need him for Kawhi Leonard. They just need him big. And sometimes Paul George kind of doesn't show up. Milwaukee Bucks at 5, they're finally kind of hitting stride. PJ Tucker's only going to help them out. I love that pickup for them. Like I said, I think they made that pickup for them to really guard James Harden, Kevin Durant, or Kyrie Irving. Giannis, the reigning MVPs, kind of flying under the radar this year, I would say. And the whole Milwaukee Bucks team is flying under the radar. They're playing good basketball though, 27-14. It's another team that's kind of one of those teams that you kind of want to see what they do in the playoffs. You kind of know what they're about. Chris Middleton, Drew Holiday. I love Drew Holiday. One of the most underrated point guards in the league. I think one of the most underrated players in the league. But they're we kind of know what they do in the regular season. It's just interesting to see what they do in the postseason. That's what's going to determine how good the Milwaukee Bucks are. Phoenix Suns coming in at 4. Are we ever going to talk about the Phoenix Suns being like a team to worry about? Because I don't think people are scared of them. They're kind of like the Utah Jazz. Like, they're kind of just there. No one's really like, oh, the Phoenix Suns are having a good year. They're 20-13 this year. Chris Paul just joined an exclusive club. 9th in assists now. 6th player in NBA history to reach 10,000. They're a fun team. They got that James Johnson. I'm sorry, not James Johnson. They got some. I think they'll make a move because I don't think this team will win it. I don't think this team is good enough to win a championship. I really don't. And yesterday was kind of a test for them with the Lakers, with LeBron James out and Anthony Davis out. It was kind of like one of those teams where they smell blood in the water and they just got to get to them fast. And the Lakers got close a couple times, and then the Phoenix Suns kind of took over and were like, okay, no. You don't have your 2 best players. We should blow you guys out. And that's what they kind of ended up doing. Then we have the Brooklyn Nets, who made their move. They got Blake Griffin. He made his debut against the Wizards on Sunday. Had a dunk. He dunked for the first time this year. Like I've said, the Nets. I won't make my assumption on the Nets until Kevin Durant's back. Such a good player, but there's only one basketball, and I've said this over time. There's They play Portland and Utah and Detroit this week. That Utah should be a good one. Let's see how Utah comes out. They're going to be fun. It's interesting to see them. I told you guys. Till KD comes back, I want to see how Kyrie reacts. I want to see how drama queen Kyrie reacts. Somebody's going to have to take a lesser role, and I've told you guys, somebody's going to have to take a lesser role. Somebody's not going to like it. And might be Kyrie, because KD's the best player when they're all healthy. Utah Jazz coming in at second. They're weird. I've talked about them a lot. They're just weird. They're bad defensively. They're 21st in defense. They allow 113 points per 100 possessions. They've been good. I mean, Rudy Gobert had 9 blocks tonight, which is pretty impressive. And they're a little sensitive. There's a quote that says, Rudy Gobert said Thursday after a loss, "We get upset when people laugh at us on TV and disrespect us. It's on us to respect ourselves. We're not champions. We're not a team that can just cruise and turn it on in the playoff time. We have to stay hungry." I mean, yeah. But no one's like... I just don't think people are worried about the Jazz. I've talked about this already before. I don't think people are really scared of the Jazz. They don't have a superstar, and they're kind of winning with role players. Donovan Mitchell could be a superstar, but until he makes people around him better, that doesn't qualify you as a superstar, I've said, right? He's great offensively. But until he can make that step and make those people around him better, like I've talked about, he's got to take that extra leap to be a superstar. And Rudy Gobert has always been a sensitive guy. They've always been kind of a sensitive team. I don't feel bad for you guys. Their team just aren't scared of you. That's on you. And then coming in at number 1, the Philadelphia 76ers. That's good for them. No Joel Embiid. Picked up 3 wins in the last week. They're still a game ahead of the Nets. And they've got the Warriors, the Lakers, and the Clippers coming up. Obviously, like I said, no. I wonder if Steph will play for the Warriors, but he should. No LeBron, no AD, so they should beat the Lakers, and then they got the Clippers. That should be a good game. But Philadelphia, they're my team coming out of the East. I still think they have a little bit better chemistry situation than the Nets, just because I like them a little bit more. I just do. I think they have better chemistry. I think they're better coach. I don't want to say better coach. I love Steve Nash, but Doc Rivers has given them an identity. I don't think they'll do much at the trade deadline, but we'll see. And now I want to talk a little bit about the awards. The 2 awards that are kind of up for grabs now are the MVP and the Rookie of the Year. No LeBron, no Joel Embiid. So the leader now is the Joker. And we had all that talk a couple of days ago about who's, how many, and it was just me. I was talking, how many should LeBron have? LeBron should have more MVPs. But now he's going to miss probably close to 4 weeks? Let's say 3 games a week. About 15 games he's probably going to miss. It's a lot of games. Joel's going to be out for a little bit longer. So the Joker kind of is the guy now. But a guy that I want to look out for, Joker's at 1, Damian Lillard's 2. Damian's having a good year, but his team's not doing so hot. Giannis is back up there. LeBron is now at 4. Joel Embiid dropped to 5. James Harden 6. Luka 7. Kawhi 8. Steph Curry 8. And Jimmy Butler 10. That's cool. The guy that I like to see that I think deserves more love is James Harden, believe it or not. And he's kind of been, he plays every game. He plays hard. He's playing better defense. He finally looks happy. He looks in shape a little bit more. He's running the New York Nets, or why do I keep saying New York Nets? The Brooklyn Nets, he's running them. I mean, he's their guy. He's played every game since he's been back. He's been efficient. They're a top team. But like I said, Joel was first last week. He jumps to 5 this week. LeBron was number 2. He jumps to 3 now. Giannis is at 3. And Dame. And the Joker. The Joker is obviously, he's a stud. 10th triple-double for the Denver Nuggets. But is it up for grabs now? Like Dame's team is not doing well. They're just so, I don't even know what to think of the MVP award anymore, because is it the best player in the best team, or is it the best player in the league? Because the best player in the best team, I mean, LeBron and Joel are going to end up missing 20 games or whatnot, so they probably are out of it because they've missed so many games, which is why LaMelo is going to be interesting to see, and I'll talk about that here in a second with Anthony Edwards. But Dame time, like, I don't know about Dame time. I think if Joel comes back, he should be the MVP. He's had the best year. The Joker obviously hasn't missed many games, and it'd be cool for him to win it. I love the Joker, kind of plays at his own pace, and my who I thought was going to win it this year was Luka Doncic, but he came into shape. He came a little out of shape. Wasn't really ready. He's kind of turned around as of late, so it's a little bit too late. But the Joker, he's having a good year all year. 27, 11, and 8. The Denver are kind of right around there. They're almost in striking distance. They're a week or week and a half away from being in a top 3 seed. So look out for the Joker. I think he's kind of taking that over. But the one that I find interesting, though, and I'm going to talk about this here, is the Rookie of the Year. The Rookie of the Year award is always, like, that's an award that's never penciled in, because anybody could turn it on any given night, right? Or, like, rookies are just weird. They just come in the league. They've never played this many games. They've just coming in from college. They're usually young guys, and usually don't know what you're getting, right? So Anthony Edwards is a guy who's kind of, at first we're like, oh man, this guy just shoots a lot, misses a lot, but you saw flashes of him being super athletic where you're like, oh my God, I have to watch him. And now he's kind of figured it out where he shoots the ball a little bit better, but like I said, he's really inconsistent with his shot. He'll have a 30, 40-point game, and then he'll have a 8, 12-point game. But Anthony Edwards, he's kind of figured it out now. Him and Karl Anthony Towns, Minnesota fans could finally be happy and be like excited about something. The only thing that I worry about them that could hurt Anthony Edwards is D'Angelo Russell coming back. That could really hurt him, because D'Angelo's kind of, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say he's kind of a ball hog. He takes the ball a lot, and you really don't, I mean, like, what is D'Angelo Russell? They kind of just traded him there because he was Karl Anthony's boy. But if anything, if he comes back, he might hurt Edwards, because Edwards kind of runs it. Kind of, he's a guard. He likes holding the ball. Ricky Rubio kind of defers the ball to him. But I like Anthony Edwards. I'm going to go on a limb and say Anthony Edwards is going to win Rookie of the Year. I like Edwards, and I've talked a lot about him on my show. I've told you guys I'm a fan. And he's figured it out. He's kind of figured out his role in the NBA, and that's big for guys, is figuring out how they fit, it takes some time to get adjusted. Especially last year, he was the first year in college. He didn't play many games. And now you come to the NBA, you're playing 60 games, 70 games, playing every other night. It's different. And I think he's figured it out. It took him a while to get it going. LaMelo was ready to do it. He's been playing professional ball overseas. But Anthony Edwards, that's who I'm going to call for my Rookie of the Year, and I'm going to go to Vegas with it. So if you're going to bet it, go bet it. So let's look at the schedule coming up for the NCAA March Madness. We've got Oregon State against Loyola, who I think it's going to be such a good game. They've got Sister on their side, but I'm going to go with my Oregon State Beavers. Pac-12 has been on fire. Villanova Baylor's going to be a dandy. Baylor's obviously the number 1 seed. Villanova's number 5 seed. They just, They just have the best professionals. I've always said that. They have their guys ready to play. Oral Roberts against Arkansas, my Razorbacks, man. I love my Razorbacks. Fayetteville's one of my favorite cities in the entire world. I might be a little biased on them. That game will be on Saturday at 4. That's going to be a dogfight. Oral Roberts against Arkansas, but I like Arkansas. Then Syracuse, Houston, I'm going to go Syracuse. Buddy Buckets. Buddy Boeheim is going to go off. They're a good basketball team. I like Coach Boeheim. And then Creighton, Gonzaga. Gonzaga, I think, is going to be their champs to me. And then Florida State, Michigan. I have Florida State winning. I don't trust Michigan very much. After seeing them tonight, they looked solid. LSU should have won the game, but the refs kind of, UCLA, Alabama should be a good one. I'm going to go, I'm going to think Alabama's going to win, but I'd love to see UCLA win. Pac-12 is putting on a show. And then Oregon, USC, that's going to be a great game. That's going to be the game of the weekend. I'm going to go with USC fight on. Fight on forever, baby. So we're having an action-packed weekend, guys. I'll be back. I'll be talking about it, all the newest stuff, and thank you guys so much for tuning in today. It's been a hell of a show. Thank you so much for spending time with me, spending your morning, your afternoon, your night, whatever it may be. I hope you guys have a great day, great night, and I'll catch you guys soon. I'll be back next week talking about the best March Madness stuff, and hopefully we get some healthier NBA guys. Too many stars that are out. We need some healthier. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll be back next week. I'll be back early. I'll be back this week, actually. Catch you guys soon. Have a great day.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.